on First Take. According to Shams, LeBron James has made his decision. He is headed to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 2-year veteran minimum $8 million deal. His agent, Rich Paul, told ESPN. So the big news that we have been waiting on, Stephen A., for weeks now has finally arrived. I know that you described this as shock when you take a look at some of the other contenders, Miami, Cleveland, Golden State, Minnesota. Your surprise level on him being a Philadelphia 76er is rooted in what?
It's rooted in the fact that I know what Cleveland means to him. And him being available to go back home to Cleveland to end his career is what I anticipated. I thought that would be too much for him to shun or to push aside. Not to say that he did it with any malice intent. Of course, he loves that area. It's home to him. That's what I was thinking. Miami, obviously, even though you got Giannis and Bam, the reality is that you still need to fill a roster and you need a few things if you're Miami, even if you were to get LeBron James. In Cleveland, there is the James Harden factor because you promised him you're going to re-sign him, and you never know if he's going to show up in a big game, meaning a game 6 or 7 of a series. And obviously, you know what? There's only one basketball. He's going to want it, and James Harden's never really played off the ball. So you've got that issue. It makes total sense that it's Philly. I just thought that if he was going to go back east, it would be real difficult for him to say no to Cleveland because it's home, it's everything for him. He's deified there as well he should be. They'll hang a statue for him one day when his career is over. He will deserve it, make no mistake about it. But I just thought that was the kind of thing that would get in the way of him going anywhere else if he went back east. So the fact that he's chosen Philadelphia from a basketball standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world. With Maxey, with Edgecombe, with the acquisition of Jaylen Brown, who is a stud and an all-world player in the NBA, LeBron joining that crew as the elder statesman, having those young thoroughbreds to carry most of the legwork, it makes perfect sense. I just thought that home would be too much of a pull for him to shove aside.
Shams Charania broke this story moments ago, and he joins us now on First Take. Shams, how did LeBron arrive at this decision?
Courtney, he spent the last few weeks talking to Philadelphia, Cleveland, Miami. As we know, those were the teams at the front lines of this because of the simple fact that LeBron James went into this process once he decided to leave the Lakers, that this would be about winning, about competing at a high level, building a culture with a team, having a team that he trusts. And so the Eastern Conference team represented a chance to contend at a high level. The Warriors were also considered, of course. The Minnesota Timberwolves were considered heavily as well. But this clearly for LeBron James, he looked at the rosters in Philadelphia after the Jaylen Brown trade. Remember, guys, like Stephen A. Courtney, the Sixers were not even in the picture, were not on the map until Bob Myers and Mike Gansey went out there and traded for Jaylen Brown. So you have Tyrese Maxey, you have VJ Edgecombe, you have Jaylen Brown and Joel Embiid. So LeBron James looked at that roster. He looked at the Cavaliers roster. He looked at the Heat roster. And he is choosing the Philadelphia 76ers for a historic 24th season. But he's signing a 2-year deal, a player option for a potential 25th season. So the Sixers and LeBron James are going into this that he could very well play a historic record 25th season. And this is about Bob Myers and Mike Gansey and a slew of their players from Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, all calling LeBron James, having relationships with LeBron James, specifically Tyrese Maxey, and selling them on that vision that it was about winning. And so LeBron James made a decision today that he believes the Sixers are best positioned to go out there and win a championship. And so when he made it clear that this was not going to be a financial decision, he was able to go into it with a minimum contract no matter where he ended up. He got the ability to pick where he felt he would have the best chance to win a championship. And he put his money where his mouth is. Courtney, the last piece I'm told over the last week or so was just having that family conversation with LeBron James. We know Savannah, his wife, Zuri, his young daughter, they're LA based. Bryce, his youngest son, he's at Arizona. Bronny James is currently right now with the Lakers. And so him going all the way to the East Coast, going all the way to the Eastern Conference, no matter where he ended up, having that familial buy-in, that was very important for him. And I think that was the last step in this decision today. LeBron James shocks the entire NBA. He doesn't go Miami. He doesn't go Cleveland. He goes the Philadelphia 76ers, and he chooses Bob Myers, Josh Harris, that ownership group there, and now a starting five of Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid.
Got to ask you, Shams, 43 years since the Sixers won a title. We know from a basketball standpoint, it's an ideal fit, to be quite honest with you. LeBron, people forget how elite he was in transition last year. And then you take into account the fact that Joel Embiid was his Olympic teammate in 2024. You know Tyrese Maxey. We know what a stud he is. Jaylen Brown, what a stud he is. And we know that the family issue obviously was the roadblock, because they had to buy in. No question about that. But Shams, from a basketball standpoint, what was tough? What was the toughest thing about LeBron ultimately reaching a decision between Philly and everybody else? I'm not talking about the family portion. I'm talking strictly basketball. What was the toughest part about that?
I mean, Stephen, you have to look at all the rosters, right? Like Philadelphia, I'm telling you, was not even on this radar, was not in the pool of candidates until Mike Gansey and Bob Myers went out and got Jaylen Brown. That changed the equation. The Sixers got on the map. And from there, it became for LeBron James now almost 4 weeks of deliberation with LeBron James, Rich Paul, that inner circle there, and his family eventually. But trying to figure out, what is the decision going to be based in? Is the decision based in, a legacy story and going home with Cleveland? Is it based in kind of that middle ground where there is legacy with the Miami Heat? There's also a very good contending team there potentially with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo. In Cleveland, we know there's Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley, but he really figure out, what does it look like going to Philadelphia? Are you going to live in Philly? Are you going to live in New York? Where are you going to live? What are your living conditions going to be there? Do you want to play with these players? We know, over the last year, there was a back and forth with Jaylen Brown and LeBron James. They seem to have patched it up in their public comments. And I know those two sides have had some level of communication, whether it's Jaylen Brown to Rich Paul, or in some form or fashion, there being communication between all of those sides. And so LeBron James was able to make a decision literally based in figuring out where he feels like he has the best chance to win a championship and compete at a high level. And so today's decision, if anything, is LeBron James making it clear that he wants to go play his 24th and potentially 25th season in Philadelphia, because he believes the Sixers have a better chance to win a championship than the Cavaliers and the Miami Heat. We'll see how it goes. But listen, that starting five, my phone is blowing up with people stunned about this decision for LeBron James, because you look at that starting five, it's going to be as formidable, if not the most formidable starting five in the NBA.
Yeah. I mean, incredible insight and reporting there, Shams. We appreciate it. Let's bring in Brian Windhorst now. Windy, this news just drops. What's your reaction?
Well, I got to say, in the last few days, LeBron kept having conversations with some of Philly's players. Joel Embiid obviously was a key conversation. And I don't think Philly really loved their positioning in the running with a few days ago. They had made their pitch. Their big pitch was trading for Jaylen Brown, but LeBron kept reaching out to the 76ers players.